What's up, YouTube? It's Danny from Team Yugibros, and today I'm talking about regionals. My team and I go to a lot of regionals around the East Coast area. We usually go down as far as Philly, and we'll go anywhere basically in New York. I don't think we're going to Syracuse though, because it's like an 8-hour drive from us. But today I just wanted to give some tips on regionals since Tyler just did that tips video on making a team. Um, One of my biggest tips for regional is be ready. There's a lot of stuff that encompasses being ready for a regional, but basically don't just test with your deck. Test playing against, and if you can, play with every deck that is good this format that you're expecting to see, because as players, we have Dueling Network, or Dev Pro for the people that like Dev Pro better for some reason, but that is one of the best tools possible for practicing, because the fact that you have infinite access to any of these cards that you might not be able to afford or might not want to spend the money for, but it still lets you use them, and use them in a way that can help you get better at the game, essentially, because you can play with cards and learn the strategies of the deck, so you know exactly when to stop them with your Max C, stop them with your Veiler, stop them with any of your card effects, like what card to bottomless, what card to do any of your things for, because a lot of the times people will lose to stupid mistakes because they don't know what they're doing against a certain deck, or like I don't understand why people don't want to practice with these decks that are good. Like Tyler said about playing against better people makes you better at the game. Playing with the better decks, essentially, more consistent decks, even if you're not playing that deck, will let you know how that deck works in its entirety, basically. Another thing is try to make sure you have all your cards when you get to the regional. Even having your deck list pre-written out is a really good idea, because then you don't have to deal with it when you get there. Another big tip for a regional is to watch your stuff. People lose their stuff there's usually an announcement before round 1 even starts saying that someone lost their black monster deck box, and if everybody sees one, to turn it into the judge's station. There's probably like 30-40 at least monster deck boxes at a regional, the black one, and nobody's gonna say that it's yours. I've seen people lose iPods, iPhones, decks, binders. I saw someone lose 2 DSs, a PSP, and an iPod Touch because he had them all in his backpack for some reason, and someone took his backpack. Why would you bring all that stuff to an event in the first place? The stuff you need for your event is maybe a binder if you want to trade, and your deck. That's basically it. That's the stuff that you literally need for the event. All the other stuff that you bring is just liability, and if you're not willing to keep track of it, someone might take it, and they'll change your whole outlook on tournaments, and a lot of the time that's bad because people get their stuff stolen and they're like, I don't want to go to bigger tournaments. Another big thing is to network with people. There's no problem with sitting down next to someone who's sitting by themselves and introducing yourself, because chances are, if they're sitting by themselves, they don't know anybody, and sitting at a regional by yourself is definitely not fun. I would never want to go to a regional by myself. I always go with my team. I have friends from all over the states that go, that basically I never have to be by myself at a regional. I can sit down at a table and most likely know someone at that table because of all the people that I try to talk to. And a lot of the time it's a lot of fun. It just helps you grow in a community. The more people you talk to, the more friends that you have, essentially, and the more friends that enjoy common interests as you. And it's something that you can relate to them with and talk about. You look at someone's deck, give them advice, trade with them, even if a lot of the times I'll trade with people and they really don't have anything that I'm interested in, and they'll ask for $1, $2 card, and why not give it to them sometimes? A lot of times you'll make their day, and that's what matters. We don't try to play this game to make people feel bad. I mean, obviously I play the game to try to win. So does Tyler, and everybody should have fun with the game. But another good thing is, honestly, if you're new to a competitive scene and you're trying to play competitive, there really is nothing wrong with it's very controversial. Everybody hates net decking, but there's really nothing wrong with net decking. All net decking is taking basically something that is proven to succeed and then trying it yourself to see if you can succeed with it. I mean, obviously, a lot of people find it more important to win with something that they designed, something they made, something with their idea. But a lot of times, people get that idea first. A lot of times, Tyler and I think we come up with this broken side deck card or like tech card that we're gonna put in, and then it turns out that people in California haven't just started playing it too, and stuff like that. Like Tyler was side decking Penguin Soldier and Mermails a long time before YCS New Jersey, and then Tyree and uh, Guerrero were both playing that. Like we're both side decking that card, and it's just a card that in water at the time was a big upset because what people were doing was Fire Fist would make Dweller, and then they'd attack and duel your face downland, and then you would essentially not have enough resources to come back. But the Penguin Soldier will flip over, bounce the Dweller. They lose so many resources going for the Dweller, and then you just have so many resources left as water, and they can't stop you. It's just stuff like that, and people did that. People net decked. People net deck some of our videos, some of our like random decks, like our Burn deck, our Naturia deck, our Nurse Reficule deck. People love those decks, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a casual player, but in my mindset, regionals are more competitive. Locals are casual in a sense, like. But I feel like if you're going to a regional, you should be having fun, but you should also want to try to win. Like, I don't know, it's just how I feel about the subject, but those are my tips for regionals. We're actually going to be at the Albany Regional this weekend. I believe me, Tyler, Dexter, Alvin, and Jared are going from our team. So if you see any of us, might as well talk to us. Hopefully we'll talk to you. I'm out.